The first volume of the 10th Doctor Adventures has been a long time coming. With Big Finish in possession of the new series licence for several months now, it's safe to say that this is their first huge venture into that part of the show, with David Tennant returning to play the immensely popular 10th Doctor. Now we just have to wait on the others. Although it's widely considered to be a golden era for the show, I'm not immensely keen on Series 4. In fact, I'd go as far to say that it's probably the weakest of Russell's run. Now, that's not to say I hated it, but to me it was starting to feel a little bit stagnant, with Tennant seemingly playing a caricature of his own Doctor, and Russell's techniques becoming rather noticeably repetitive. Since I'm not a huge advocate for that period of the show, it might be safe to say that I'll be a little bit more balanced without the nostalgia effect clouding my judgment. So let's hope there's a little bit more to it than that then. The first volume consists of three... Am I holding this upside down? I can't... The first standalone story What? The first volume consists of three standalone stories that are in no way interlinked. There's no big arc, and the set doesn't contain any old villains or heavy continuity, making it highly accessible. I'm really glad that Big Finish chose this approach, especially for their newcomers. The opening story, Technophobia, sees the human race lose its grasp on technology, with people finding themselves inexplicably dumbing down, and, as a result of this, fearing it. Hence the title. First things first, the performances. Tennant and Tate are on form here. I've mentioned in previous Big Finish reviews that moving from television to audio isn't always easy, and it can result in some actors toning down their performances. Although very occasionally you get that sense with Catherine Tate, I don't know how loudly she's allowed to shout at Big Finish HQ, you don't want to interrupt the neighbours or anything. On the whole, they do incredibly well at recapturing these old characters, particularly David Tennant, whose prior experience at Big Finish may have helped. I don't know if this is a personal preference, but I really didn't engage with this story. It might just be because I'm not interested in relationships between humans and technology. Honestly, stories centered around malfunctioning robots and electronic equipment really fail to grasp me. I'd say this is the weakest story of the set, so if you feel yourself getting put off by it a little bit, don't worry and don't stop there, because it does get better. Thankfully, the second story was far more engaging for me. Time Reaver takes us to Calibris, a spaceport world. Think Heathrow Airport and King's Cross merged together as a planet, where a highly destructive weapon has been doing the rounds in the black market. Jenny T. Colgan's writing is particularly strong here. It's been suggested by some that her experience writing for novels attributes to this, but if anything, I'd say that can serve as a hindrance. Writing audio and writing prose are two completely different things. With prose, you can be as descriptive as you like when setting up your world, but with audio, all you have to go by is dialogue and sound design. Colgan's ability to write for both demonstrates that she understands how to approach these mediums very capably, with the exception of a couple of rather noticeably descriptive pieces of dialogue, but those are near impossible to avoid when writing for audio. The main strength of this story is the world building on show. Colgan presents us with a place full to the brim of potential stories and a functioning society with colourful characters aplenty. I certainly wouldn't mind finding out a bit more about Gully the Octopus. The Time Reaver also proved to be an inventive and horrifying weapon, made all the more captivating by the writing and sound design choices. The third and final story, Death and the Queen, follows Donna as she finds herself preparing to marry a foreign prince, whilst death literally comes knocking at the door. I think James Goss's submission may well be the strongest entry of these three adventures. It's intriguing, it's funny, it's original, and it never loses sight of its characters. There are scenes between the Doctor and Donna that are genuinely moving, and it's refreshing to see an emphasis on character rather than purely the plot, which Big Finish can occasionally find itself guilty of doing. Catherine Tate is definitely the lead of this story, and holds the story up incredibly, capable talent that she is. This also means that the 10th Doctor can take on the role as more of a comedy side character, like he did in Day of the Doctor, which is actually when I find his character to be the most likeable. One thing I noticed during this adventure and the set as a whole is the musical score. I enjoyed Howard Carter's music on the first series of The Diary of River Song, but here a lot of it is lifted almost entirely from his other work. The music that accompanies the 10th Doctor is near identical to that which Carter uses for the War Doctor, which I found highly distracting. It's because of this that, for the most part, the score felt unoriginal and uninspired. I wish Carter would have tried something new, as he's fully capable of doing. Alternatively, I would have really liked to have seen what Jamie Robertson would have done with this. because I think his orchestral style would have really suited this set. This is a near perfect set of adventures, and although it's let down slightly by the first episode and the musical score, Tennant and Tate are truly on form as the 10th Doctor and Donna. Newcomers to Big Finish look no further than here, because this is a perfect getting on point, unburdened by continuity. You can find the first volume of the 10th Doctor Adventures online at bigfinish.com. If you've listened to this set already, what do you think, and do you agree with my points? Let us know in the comments below. That's it from me. Allons-y and that. Allons-y? Why did you make me say Allons-y? Allons-y. I'm not doing it again.
Help me or I'll kill you. Also, I am a good man, so that's why you should help me.
Oh, okay.
We've got to get my body back, but first let me kill these guards with my acid spit like a true hero would. Also, I'm gonna possess this woman.
Okay, but then after that, can we be best friends?
Lee! Lee, he lied to you, Lee!